Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary. Hope you've all had a good week. Hope you all had a good weekend. It's the Sunday Club yet again. How is everyone? It's going to be. I'll be relying on the chat tonight because there's not been a huge amount of news, has there, from an England perspective. Apart from, I want to start off. I found a channel on Twitter this weekend, and I'm not sure why I haven't come across it before, if I'm honest with you. But it's a channel. I'm just going to have a look, make sure I've got this right. So a player came up, and on England players abroad or English players abroad at English Abroad 1 on Twitter. And it was showing a debut goal for Andy Carroll, of all people. He scored twice there in his first appearance for Bordeaux to rescue his side's 2-2 draw in the fourth tier of French football. Just wanted to raise that because when I read that this weekend, I was pretty gobsmacked, actually, that Andy Carroll is still playing, and even more gobsmacked that he's playing in whatever the division it is now of the French league. So yeah, just really interesting. I thought I'd start with that one. So how is everyone? Who we got in the chat? Let me load up the chat on here so I can see it a little bit bigger. So Joe, the GOAT first, was here. Yes, you were, mate. Darius, good evening, mate. Match Channel, hiya, mate. Gate 102 podcast. I've seen that you put your other podcast out this weekend, so check that out again. Another shout out for you. Good evening, mate. Thank you for the intro. I'm always trying to tinker about, and I will be having, so just for some breaking news moving forward, I want these live streams as well to try and vary them up, particularly in weeks where there's not a huge amount going off. There's still plenty to talk about with England. We'll talk about the Nations League games coming up and everything else, but obviously, I want to try and mix these up. I've spoken about a quiz. I will be doing a quiz, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to announce a quiz date on my community channel, on my community page, so everyone can then make sure that if they want to be a part of it, they can join. And then I'm going to try and do it as well where people, literally, we do it live and I can see the scores come in, so it's not just me taking everybody's word for it. So leave that with me. We'll probably aim for some sort of Christmas thing with that. I think that might be a good idea. But also, I will be having guests on the channel, so I've been doing a lot of work with my graphics and things like that to bring other guests on as well. So I'm having a conversation with people some weeks, not all weeks, but some weeks I can, just have a bit of chat with people about everything England, really. So, yeah, just some things that are lined up moving forward. League 2 of French football. Yeah, it just really surprised me, Warlion, when I saw him. And what a channel that is. But what a Twitter account that was. I had no idea that was out there. So well worth a look if you're interested in keeping a tabs on English players playing abroad. Definitely check that Twitter page out. But yeah, I just wasn't, for some reason, even though I think I did know he was still playing, I just wasn't expecting to, I don't know, it still took me by surprise. And I think famously when Andy Carroll, he scored against Sweden, didn't he? With that bullet of a header. And I remember the commentator at the time saying that will be the first of many for England, and it wasn't. That was his last goal for England. So he's sort of another one of those England players who you feel like, or players in general, English players, whatever, who you probably think, his career probably didn't go the way it should have gone. The talent is better than what his career has turned out. So, yeah, but it just really surprised me. Really surprised me with that one. But I hope everyone else is well. So, what we got on the channel tonight? I mean, I've kept the message on at the bottom about the warning to the UK government, but I think we can take that off, really, can't we? Let's take that off. The main things at the minute are the Greece game, 10th of October at Wembley. Who's going? Pop in the chat if you're going. I will be back. I will have my pot off, thank God. So I will be going to that game. I cannot wait for that match. Really, really looking forward to it. I mean, Thursday night. It's a Thursday night. Who cares? I think it'll be buzzing. But particularly when, it's starting to get a bit cold again now. I don't mind that. Nicely wrapped up. England versus Greece under the lights at Wembley. Let's have it. And then Finland versus England. So I think for those of you who weren't watching on my last channel, if anyone's in the channel now who actually got a ticket to Finland away, bravo, because I'm sure there was some sort of mental statistic out there where you almost you had to have attended every single England game for almost the past 4 years to be guaranteed a ticket. The allocation was that small. So yeah, very, very few England fans going to Finland, or at least going with a ticket. which is a shame, but it is what it is. Sometimes when you play nations that don't have big stadiums. Speaking of that, though, on social media this week, there has been a lot of talk about the FA arranging a friendly match with the United States of America, but interestingly, it is going to be in the US. So I don't know. It's not been announced yet, but I think it'll be really good. It'll be really, really good if that can come off. So yeah, a chance, and I'm assuming the allocation for that will be large. Let's hope so. But if that happens, great. It might be a good opportunity for a lot of England fans. I know it's a long distance, so money then comes into it, but it's a potential for a lot of fans if they want an away ticket to get one and to go and see England. Gate 102. Part of me wishes one of the home games was outside of Wembley, but I understand financially the game sort of needs to be at Wembley. Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. I much prefer it when they travel outside of Wembley because, one, Wembley isn't that easy to get to for most people, even for Londoners, if I'm honest with you. That's why half the ground empties on about 70th minute. But, yeah, it's just nice to get it around the country. They have started to do it a little bit more, and who knows, I think maybe for some of the qualifiers they'll have a couple knocking around, but these Nations League, I think, because they've got to get them in before Christmas, I think it's just easy just to fit them in at Wembley with the season now starting, of course. East Coast apparently says War Lion. Yeah. Is it? I mean, yeah. So it's not the West Coast, so it's not as far, but obviously it will be expensive. The flights will probably be expensive alone. But yeah, it's just an opportunity. Fingers crossed with an allocation wise that, given the size of the stadiums in America, although I think, I'm not even sure. Was they saying New York? I'm not even sure what city they were saying. Because obviously there are some football stadiums. When I say football, I mean soccer. But football stadiums in the US that aren't 90-odd, 80,000 seat or 70,000. There's some much smaller MLS stadiums, so they may do it in one of those. I doubt it, though, because I think they'll fill it. I think they'll understand that they might get a lot of people wanting to go to this. So I don't know. It's just one of those where, have in the back of your mind, there could be a potential trip out to the US. Obviously ahead of the World Cup, substantially ahead of the World Cup. But yeah, great opportunity to go and see America, and a great opportunity, hopefully, for many people to go to an away game. So get saving your pennies. So yeah, I mean, England, October. I mean, it's great. I think, so England are back in action early October, and then I believe again in early November. So we're in an unusual situation because of the way the scheduling's worked out, that every month now there's an international break, which is brilliant, which is what I want. You know, every 4 weeks there's almost a set of England fixtures. Obviously that will end with the Nations League. So yeah, there's Greece and Finland in October, early October, and then 14th, 17th of November, it's Greece away and Ireland at home. So brilliant time to be an England fan these next 3-4 months. We've just had, obviously, the 2 games, and then now we're going to go into another couple more in 4 weeks' time, or 3 weeks' time, whatever it is now, and then another 4 weeks after that, back on England duty again, which is fantastic. I would love it if it was regularly like this, but sadly, it won't be. It won't be at all. Match channel, I did England versus US in Qatar. Well, hopefully it will be better than that, mate, because we were a shambles, weren't we? We were a shambles. I know Americans always go on about, because I had it all on my channel build up to that World Cup, England's never beaten America in a competitive game. I get it. We've played them only 3 times in a competitive game, and they did provide one of the biggest upsets ever in football when America did beat us. Was it the 70s or something? So yeah, they have one victory over us in a competitive match. Obviously, we've famously drawn the other 2. But we've comfortably got a better record against them in friendlies and everything like that. I mean, it'll be an interesting game. It'll be an interesting game. Obviously, particularly with Pep, Pochettino, now the manager of the United States. Will he improve them? Because they've not been great. They've not been picking up very good results. They've been beaten by Canada. They're struggling against other teams under Berhalter. As a lot of people know, they've really struggled. So yeah, it might be an interesting game. They've got some exciting talent, no doubt. But yeah, nothing officially announced yet. But fingers crossed, there's an away friendly as well for England is very unusual, very, very unusual, and something I wish we did more of. Most of the nations obviously play abroad in friendlies. I mean, there's not a huge amount of space in the calendar now for England to play friendlies, or any teams to play friendlies, actually, because of competitions like the UEFA Nations League, which is brilliant. Gone are the days under Sven, who we spoke about before, when there was 8 games a year that were friendlies and all pointless, and 50 subs were made at half time and all that nonsense. It's better now. We've got more competitive fixtures, but even when England do play friendlies, they tend to be at Wembley, don't they? So an away friendly, particularly out of Europe, I think is a really good thing to do. And I hope England do that moving forward more often. Maybe in Asia, maybe in Africa. Who knows? Let's. Why not? Why not is my answer to that. Why not? Josh, hopefully we get to smash them in the World Cup. I wouldn't want them in the World. I think when it comes to tournaments, you never want to get the home nation. Not that I fear them, but you just don't want. You don't want any of that noise, particularly with England, because the Yanks will be absolutely mad for it, like they were on my channel when we drew them in the World Cup last time. They're absolutely mad for it, giving it all that big in. They would love it. For them, England would be like their World Cup final. And I just don't want that noise. I want England just to have... I don't want them to have Canada either, or Mexico. I just don't want the noise of a home nation. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't fear them if we had them anyway. England obviously will be in a very strong position. England playing in Cairo, let's have it. No, but that's my point though. It's like, why, what's one friendly outside of Europe a year, you know what I mean, or maybe 2. I just think, I don't know. I just think it would be good to see England play different teams. I know it doesn't happen often, and other teams don't travel that often. The US don't come to Europe that often to play friendlies in Europe. I mean, they do more often than England do the other way, obviously. But yeah, it would just be interesting for England to travel outside of Europe in those slots where there's availability to do so. But yeah, all watch this space. I think we'll all be having a bit of a East Coast of America, won't we, if that gets announced? I would fancy England's chances against USA in knockouts because they can't settle for a draw. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would back England against Canada and Mexico or the US, but it doesn't mean neither of those teams could beat England. Obviously, they could, and we have yet to see Lee Carsley at a tournament. Obviously, we're going to see him at a tournament before the World. No, we're not going to see him at a tournament. Sorry, before the World Cup. So that is his starting point, given the fact of where we are in the Nations League. So who knows? Who's going to be leading the line for England? Sorry if you can hear my slurp, by the way. It's very hard. Mexico are terrible right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are. And they're definitely behind the US now, where historically before, Mexico's definitely been the team in that area, coefficient, if you like. North America, they were the team to beat. But not anymore. America, well, arguably Canada, have done better in recent years than all 3 of them in terms of Nations Leagues, in terms of tournament qualification, all that sort of stuff. Canada's done pretty well over recent years. So, yeah, it's going to be... Well, I've made my thoughts on the American tournament last year, but a friendly over there, yeah, let's have it. And I think my point I was getting at is I'd like to see England travel around a lot more. And I think this is what a lot of England fans have enjoyed about England being in League B. We know we're not going to probably... Well, we're not going to see the quality of the opposition in the games, and England hopefully going to win this group comfortably. But it's been nice to see England play teams that we don't usually play. Look at my preview videos for the last set of fixtures against Ireland. It was the first competitive game against Ireland in over 30 years. It was the first game against Finland in over 20 years. It's great to have these games against teams that we haven't historically played over recent years, in particular because we were starting to play the same teams all the time. So it has been nice to mix it up, but I want to be back in that League A. Definitely want to be back in League A. The odds for the next manager came out today, and Carsley was top as expected. Can definitely see him coming in permanently and would be all for that, mate. Honestly, he's there now, isn't he? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Lee Carsley is the manager. The FA I don't know what they're doing. I genuinely don't know what they're doing. Why not just make him manager now? This promoting the youth manager. I mean, what's the point? I mean, what is the point of him being a good youth coach? Someone said this to me last night. What is the point of him being a good youth coach if then when it comes around to him being promoted to the senior manager, why wouldn't he get the position? It just doesn't make any sense. It's proven at international level that this works. It's much more effective recruiting people in the backroom staff or people linked with an association rather than going out for big names. Just appoint him, FA. Just get on with it and appoint him. I mean, I think only the newspapers are doing it to sell papers and to get clickbait in terms of England. I think it's already decided. So stop wasting everybody's time. I mean, there's no chances there. I mean, look, Greece, 10th of October, Finland, either one of those teams going to cause an upset? Can any of us actually see any of them getting a draw or a win, or a win against England? And if they're not going to, if we're that far, what is going to change? What can Carsley do to convince them if he's not winning the games that's put in front of him? So I just think, just appoint him. Stop wasting everybody's time. I know it's like a lot, a bit of fun, isn't it? Keep looking at the odds. Will Pep go? What's going off with this Man City breaches thing? If they get, Pep's come out, hasn't he, this weekend saying everyone wants Man City wiped off the face of the earth, or expecting Man City to be wiped off the face of the earth. What's going to happen with him if they get docked 100 points and titles taken off him? I don't know, but look, Carsley's the best man for the job, and I'm saying that even if Pep's available. Genuinely. Pep, we haven't got time. Pep won't. You only see your players 5-6 times a year. Pep's not going to have time to instill any sort of Man City or Barcelona mentality with this England team. You just need a very simple fit system, football style that they've been playing since they've young. That most of the players have been playing since they've younger at international level. And Lee Carter's that man. He's been there, done it. He knows all the players. He knows the staff in it. It's just simple. It's just simple. Get on with it and recruit him. Everything that the likes Ashworth, Southgate, the FA have been doing the last 10 plus years with the England DNA programme is pointed towards having Carsley as manager, and that's exactly what I'd like. Exactly, mate. And there's no doubt, I've said this before, no doubt, St George's Park has been a huge success. The whole point of it was to have this England DNA, this England style of playing, this familiarity that when you come up through the ranks, you know what your job is, you know what you're doing, you know how to turn up, you know what's going to be expected of you. This is all it. To then bring someone in like a big, strong character, like a Klopp or a Pep, which won't happen anyway. But to bring that, it's just throwing it all out. It's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And it just doesn't, it's not the right call. It's not the right call. Carsley is the right man. So just appoint him. So all of us can just get on with it, and he can start to then. This is the thing. If they've not officially announced it as far as Lee Carsley's concerned, then he's still planning for only the next few months. Just give him the job. So he's literally, these games now, he's thinking ahead to the World Cup. You can argue he's doing that anyway. He brought a lot of players in on that first set of fixtures. But just give him the job now so he knows what he's doing. And when he's having those team talks, when he's got the players together, he's talking to them about that World Cup. You know what I mean? It's just don't get it. Gate 102, fully agree, Gary. Carsley in now, and that's building on from what Gareth has done, not ripping it up. Exactly, mate. And you can't do that. As angry as everyone was, or a big contingent of England fans were about Gareth Southgate, and he's not this, he's not that, he's too defensive. There's no doubt he got a lot right. You don't want to chuck everything out. Lee Carsley is that fine balance. And we're all being honest, most people, I didn't see anybody, most of us were all saying that Lee Carsley has done really well, and we know about the quality of the opposition we played in Finland and Ireland, but there's no doubt in the style we played and the dominance in which we played. And again, you could argue England should be doing that, but we were clearly more offensive. He's making Trent look like an absolute world beater that people think he is. He's bringing in new players. He's solving some of those problems we're having. He's doing everything right. He's doing everything right with what's put in front of him. So just give him the damn job. Give him the job. But yeah, England-Greece, I am so looking forward to it. I really am going to get there early. Book the day. Have I booked the day off? Yes, I have. I've booked the day off. It's a bit hard for me to get to Wembley if I haven't. So I've booked the day off. I'll be there nice and early. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to get back to Wembley. Really can't wait. I'm just going to move my mic while I slurp my tea. Oh, yeah, you can't beat a brew, can you, on a Sunday night? So, yeah, It's going to be interesting. I mean, when Carsley announces his squad, it will not be long now till he announces his second squad. It'll be interesting then to see if he sticks with some of those players. Does he bring other players in, particularly in that midfield area? You know, players like Kyle Walker, all those sorts of players. Are they going to come back in? It's going to be interesting to see what he picks and who he keeps playing in those positions. Gomez did exceptional in the last set of international fixtures. I think he's a cert to get called back up 100%. So I'd like to see him. But who else? Let's see who else. Who else is worthy of a call up at the minute? Now we've had a couple of weeks of the Premier League back under action. Josh Phillips, spot on, Gary. The only other manager I would consider is Eddie Howe, and that's only because he's English, no country, and certainly not one of the stature of England should have a foreign manager, in my opinion. No, absolutely agree with you, mate. Really hope they perform how they've been performing in the last two matches in the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for England. It's taking the qualification form, isn't it, to a tournament and actually doing it. And we didn't do that even at the last Euros, even though we got to the final. I'll be honest with you, the best England's ever played in my lifetime at a tournament was at the World Cup when France knocked us out. I thought we had a fantastic World Cup. You know, we battered the African Cup of Nations champions. We were playing attacking, flair football. We were brilliant to watch. Apart from that US game, we were brilliant to watch. It was, really good football. And I go back to it time and time again. We were the better team against France that night. But the gods and Harry Kane's right foot was against us. But yeah, it's about bringing this qualification form when we're battering teams easily. And you don't expect us to do that in a tournament, but you know, where's that control and dominance and chance, particularly chances being created at tournaments? That's what we don't seem to have as much. Seem a bit edgy. Well, we definitely seemed edgy at the last Euros. Will the squad be on this coming Thursday? I think so. I need to find out. Sometimes they don't announce it publicly, but I'll find out. I'll find out when it's. I'll find out when he's going to announce it. It will be obviously be very soon because we're now on the 22nd, aren't we? It might be the week after. Yeah, it'll probably be the week after. Probably the 3rd or 4th around that time. Oh, hang on. I've just lost my chat. There we go. Harvey Barnes is on fire, but the problem is I don't know who he would come in for. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, he comes in if he's better than anyone else who you would have on that list. And you're right, he seems to be a player who's grabbing the headlights at the minute, doesn't he? And the headlines at the minute. So let's have a look. By all means. Carsley, no doubt, in the best English option, says Match Channel. The only other manager I'd consider would be Tuchel. Yeah, on-call football. Carsley has to be England's man now. No point chasing Potter, Howe, or any other manager in the Prem when their heart is not in it. Harvey Barnes isn't good as what we've already got. I mean, this squad he picked, I mean, you got to think about it. There's people like Madueke in the last squad, obviously Gomez coming in. Rico Lewis, you know, players that weren't in the last squads. Are they going to stay? Are they going to stick there? I mean, you would argue probably Lewis because of his versatility and the lack of options we've got in certain areas where he plays. But it was a very much an experimental squad in terms of there was a lot of new young players coming through, or players that had done well for Carsley under 21 level that he wanted to bring through. Will he stick with them? Who knows? I do think England were light in that last set of fixtures. You were looking at the bench and thinking if we did need it, there wasn't a huge amount of options off the bench. There were a lot of injuries, of course. I mean, well, in fact, that's a lie. The squad he picked, there was loads of options. The problem was every bugger pulled out, didn't there? If you remember, Watkins pulled out, Palmer pulled out. Who else pulled out? Did Gordon pull out? No, Gordon played, didn't he? Gordon played a part. But yeah, there was a number, 3 players. I can't remember the third one now, but there were 3 players very quickly who pulled out from an attacking option, and it left us a little bit light. And it was surprising actually. He didn't call other people up, and I always find that surprising, particularly at the under 21 level. You think, okay, if these senior players for whatever reason don't want to play or they're injured, call up some of your under 21s. Give that, that's the opportunity. Foden, that was it. Yeah. So it's just like, it just surprises me when they didn't call up those other players, and the fact that you're losing Watkins, Palmer, Foden, and we're still easily, convincingly winning those games. It just shows you where England are at. But you do think, why not give us some other lads the chance at that senior level who are on the verge? I hate it when people random Barnes for England just because he had 2 good games. Ditto Adam Lafondre, Kevin Nolan, Martin Noble. Foden pulled out, says Gate 102. I mean, the thing is, there's not... I was at the pub last night and someone, a lad I was out with kept going on about Calvert-Lewin for England. And he was saying it, I think, because of obviously now Tony's moved to Saudi Arabia, so he's not likely to get picked. So obviously, outside of Ollie Watkins, there's not really a huge amount of striking options for England. I'm not convinced on Calvert-Lewin at all. I mean, I think he's a target man. You see bits of him where you think actually he's a really good player, but then I don't know. I don't know. It's just I think that forward line in particular needs a look at. Would love to see Gibbs White called up again, but probably doesn't deserve it now. I'd personally replace him with Morgan Rogers. I don't know. But the thing is Carsley loves Gibbs White. He really does. I can't see much. Well, maybe. This is the thing, though, with Lee Carsley, that plays like Morgan Rogers and stuff. Will he call up? I think he is more likely to give some of these younger lads a chance. Or new players coming in, certainly a chance. Which of the players who won the under-21s that didn't get called up are in contention for the October window? Oh, God, I'd have to have a look at the under-21 squad now. Who won it? I'd have to have a look. Barnes is now 28. He would have to be truly exceptional to earn a recall. Taylor, Harwood, Bellis, and somewhat underwhelmed in the last year. Yeah, I mean he looked really promising, didn't he, Harwood Bellis? He had a good tournament, but it's just like I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he called up. Let me load up the under-21 winning squad. Let me have a look. So we've got, because there were some standout players in that squad. I mean, James Trafford was in there. It was surprising James Trafford didn't get called up, actually, because he's done a good job for it. Max Aarons was there. Jared Branthwaite. Yeah, I mean, Branthwaite was one where people were saying, should he get called up for the Euros? So, Levi Colwill, I think he's going to be an England regular. Charlie Creswell. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, obviously. I mean, Harwood-Bellis, I believe he was the captain. I'm right in thinking he was the captain at that tournament. Aaron Magana, who played at right back. James Sappin had a hard time at Burnley. Yeah, I mean, but he's playing for Burnley, isn't he? Garner isn't even close to England quality unless he gets a better manager than Dyche. Harvey Elliott, yeah, I mean, Harvey Elliott's a good player. Ben Johnson was in the squad. Luke Thomas, Tommy Doyle, Harvey Elliott, James Garner, Gomez, Curtis Jones, Jacob Ramsey, of course, forgot about him. Oliver Skipp. Oliver Skipp looks about 50, even though he's supposed to be. Cameron Archer, Morgan Gibbs White, Anthony Gordon, Noni Madueke, Cole Palmer, and Emil Smith Rowe. I mean, Emil Smith Rowe, he's now moved. I haven't seen him. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen him this weekend, but yeah, who knows? Maybe he can put some runs of games behind him and get some game time and yeah. But I mean, with Branthwaite, I think he's Josh saying he's been injured. I think he's well in with a shout though of coming in if when he gets his fitness back in. It's just still Maguire and Stones. I mean, Maguire came straight back in, but it's just, again, beyond that, Gahey's obviously now come in. It's just who else is going to be coming in at that centre-back position. Kwanzaa maybe, but he's not playing or hasn't been playing for Liverpool, sorry. Wouldn't mind Smith Rowe being called up. He's been good so far. Yeah, I mean, I think Smith Rowe's a good player. I think probably this squad is going to be a little bit too early for him. I think England's got enough, haven't they, with Watkins and Kane. I mean, if you think about it, let's say Kane and Watkins are injured. Let's say Kane and Watkins are injured. You've probably got other players that. I mean, you go back to that thing where can we play without a striker? Could England play without a striker with the talent we've got? could we arguably play without a striker? I'm thinking worst case scenario, like if Watkins and Kane aren't fit because of the lack of options we've got, and obviously, like I said on the last, could he play Bowen up there? Could Foden go up him? Is a bit. I don't know. I'm just there's options if the worst case scenario should happen that we've got no Kane or Watkins. I think. Good one, Lion. Solanke, definitely. Delap, yeah. Solanke just doesn't get a look in, does he? Really surprising. I do like Solanke as a player. He just, for some reason, he just never seems to get a shout. Gordon and Palmer played as a pair of auxiliary strikers or false nines like Havertz or Trossard. Yeah, and that's what I mean. So it's not without those two. It's maybe I'm what I've been talking about is trying to think of who's the third striker or who's coming in alongside Kane and Watkins. But arguably, Carnes is looking at that squad and thinking we don't need another striker or out and out striker is what I'm getting at. But Solanke would. Yeah, he's earned his call up, hasn't he? There's no doubt he's played good football. Solanke seems like a modern Darren Bent, almost good enough, but not quite. Look, I think Darren Bent was under. In terms of a man who scores goals, a striker's there to score goals. It's as simple as that. He's literally there to score goals. It's as simple as that. So if they're scoring goals, job done. So I'm not gonna, Darren Bent scored goals. He did score goals. I know what people might think he wasn't that good, but he was banging him in. A team, I'm sure he was finishing almost a league top goal scorer in a team that was getting relegated. He knew how to find the back of the net, and that's all that. With that squad, with the team that's going to be around any player that plays up front for England, all you need is someone to put it in the back of the net. You don't need someone who can take 10 players on, or score one the free kick. They're going to put it on a plate for him, or you'd expect them to create chances for them. So all you just need a finisher. That's what Kane is. Kane is the ultimate finisher, but is a finisher. I think Solanke would have been called up if he didn't get injured. Yeah, he's missed out unfairly in the past though, particularly under Southgate. Obviously not under Carsley. He's only had one call up. He only had one opportunity to call him up, but yeah, he has been overlooked. So maybe he does come in. I wish I could say Danny Namaso Loader, but I can't read that. But he only has one penalty goal this season. But we live in the Pep era. Unless you're Haaland or Kane, every forward is drifting around endlessly. Yeah, but Kane does that for England. That's what Kane was criticised for at the Euros. Everyone was saying it's like playing with 10 men. I just think, at the end of the day, if there's an English lad who can stick the ball in the back of the net, that's all we need. And I go back to that again because of the talent that's going to be behind him. You don't need anything else. You just need someone who can finish. But it'll be. I think it'll be an exciting squad again, and I think it's good because it's giving some of the established players a bit of a shake up. Say your positions aren't guaranteed, and it's also giving those under 21s opportunity in terms of look, if you're playing well enough, you're going to get called up. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I just think Carsley obviously knows them as well from a dressing room perspective. He'll know what they're like putting that shirt on, representing England. And Madueke obviously played really, really well. And he's done well for him under 21s. I thought he definitely justified his selection, as did Gomez. There's no one there, even Lewis and people like that. There was no one there who Lee Carsley picked who you thought actually they're at the depth or didn't deserve to be there or weren't good enough. He made the right call. So well done for him putting those players in there. Long may it continue. Let's see. I'd like to see Adam Wharton come back in. He went to the under-21s last time, didn't he? He got demoted. Gate 102 says Callum Wilson when fit. The problem is you can't stay fit, can he? A bit like Calvert-Lewin and Reece James and God knows who else we're going to put on this list. But Luke Shaw, they just can't stay fit. They just cannot stay fit. Okay, Cheers is even more obscure than Balogun, who switched to the USA. Yeah, Balogun, Jesus. They sweetened him up for months with like basketball tickets and everything. It's a joke. But yeah, it's yeah, I think it'll be an exciting squad. I think it'll be a really exciting squad, and it's opened the door to a whole host of players to come in, earn the spot. Let me have a look at the last under-21 squad that was announced, actually. The latest one, because I think that might shed some light in terms of who's probably now back in that under-21 squad under Kars's regime anyway, and who's probably going to get called up to the senior squad. I don't know if I'm probably going to struggle to find it now. In fact, I'll go on Twitter. Let me have a look. Because I know Adam Wharton went back to the England under-21 squad, which was surprising. You know, the fact that he did basically take him completely out and brought Gomez in. Here we go. Oh no, that's from June 2023. I'll have to have a hunt round. It'll be on my Twitter thing somewhere because I'll have liked it at some point. Let's have a look. Bear with me. I'm getting there. It'll be worth it, definitely. I'm getting through all my Irish tweets. Here we go. Right, England squad. That's the England squad. Where's the under-21s? Oh, maybe I didn't like it. That's really annoying. But anyway, I think yeah, we'll get it up. We'll get it up. I mean, looking at the other England squad, I mean, Konza was turned up. Livramento, I've not mentioned him actually, who was in the last squad. I completely forgot he was called up. Eze playing very well. I'm looking at this squad, you know, Bowen, Eze, Gordon, Grealish, Kane, Madueke, Saka, Watkins. Who do you drop, particularly after the way they played? And then you've got Gibbs-White, Rice, Mainu, Gallagher, Gomez. Gallagher got his first goal, didn't he, I think, this week. Foden, Palmer. Then you got Stones, Maguire, Lewis, Livramento, Konza, Gahey, Arnold and Colwill. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Who gets dropped from that? Who does get dropped from that? I think that is, looking back on that now, it is very difficult to think who is going to force their way into that squad. I mean, Danny Welbeck. Let's get Danny Welbeck back in. He's still scoring, isn't he? I love Danny Welbeck for England. Good times they were. Well, they were and they weren't. Good times though. I did like it. I'm genuinely not serious. There's obviously now better players than Welbeck, but yeah, always got a soft spot for Danny Welbeck. Don't ask me why. I just really enjoyed him for England. I thought he was a good player. It was the start of a new generation of England players. I think more technical, but I liked him. I liked Danny Welbeck, and he's been playing good football. But he's not going to get a call up. I mean, Josh, he's not. I know what you say. He's not going to get a call up, mate. He won't. There's no. Imagine. I mean, if Lee Carsley wants the England job, the way you would literally get all the England fans against him is if he called up Danny Welbeck. And the madness is that he is actually playing good football and scoring goals. That is the madness of English fans. He is actually playing well, so it wouldn't be the most outrageous thing, but England, there's no way English fans would accept him calling up Danny Welbeck at all. What a goal by Welbeck versus, yeah, mate, it was class. I love Welbeck. I really liked Danny Welbeck. Gate 102, Eddie Nketiah, yeah, good point, yeah. Player who slipped my mind. If he does well for Palace, did brilliant for the 21s as well, yeah. No, that is a good shout. I mean, Smith Rowe, Nketiah. Some players have moved this summer. I mean, Sterling. There's a load of English players actually who've moved this summer who could potentially now rejuvenate the career, come back into this England squad. But I've just looking back over that squad though. Then I was thinking, who does come out? Honestly, who would come out? Will, great channel, mate. Massive thank you so much, mate. Thank you for joining me. Hope you've been subscribed for a while. If not, great that you're here. Thank you for joining. Let us know what you think we're talking about. You know, England strikers and England striking options. But we're talking about actually, do England even need a striker? I'm not saying we drop Kane or Watkins. I'm saying if Kane or Watkins were injured, because we were just reading out the last squad. I mean, you could maybe class Bowen as a striker, couldn't you? Or Eze even. I don't know. But, you've got Kane and Watkins. Outside of that, could we play with, with the amount of talent we've got, could you have different people coming in? And I mentioned Danny Welbeck for laughs and giggles, but he's playing well. He is playing well. Welbeck used to be my favourite player when I was 7 or 8. Yeah, mate, I thought he was a good player. I know probably some people are turning off now thinking, what are you on about? But no, I liked him for England. And every time, every time I look, he's doing well. He's doing well in the league. He's not going to get called up, though, because like I said, if Carsley wants the England job, he will not call Danny Welbeck up. He just won't. No, even if Danny Welbeck goes on a 10-goal spree now in the next 4 games, he's not going to do it. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, England, Greece, and Finland again. There should be comfortable victories, shouldn't there? There should be very, very comfortable victories. I mean, against Finland at home, we struggled obviously to break them down. Greece will obviously have a look at that. Looking at the group as well, I think Greece are top on goal difference at the minute. So we beat Greece, and this is the group really. This is who wins or who gets the best result here. I think this is the group. I just expect it to be more of the same, really, absolutely more of the same. Encore Football Euro 2000. So Josh and Gate 102 are both saying that they both love Danny Welbeck. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm feeling a lot of Danny Welbeck love tonight. Didn't think this was the way it was going to go tonight, but I'm glad we've got a bit of Danny Welbeck loving going off. Euro 2008 to Euro 2016 was the Brexit ball era of English football. Andy Carroll for England. What an header he scored. What an header Andy Carroll did score, though, for England. It was a quality header. It was a beast. It was an absolute beast. And like I said, the commentator said that was going to be the first minute, and the irony, but he wasn't. That was his last goal for England. So funny. Time for Pope, Walker, Trippier's to retire from international football. Yeah, I mean, Trippier has, hasn't he? Trippier's retired. Yeah, I think there's a time now, isn't there, to certainly, I mean, if they're not going to retire, certainly then start to look at bringing other players through. You can't deny how well Trent played in the last set of I mean, he was probably our best player. Him and Gomez were probably our best player. I mean, from an attacking perspective and creativity perspective, Danny Welbeck, I've got him on the brain. Trent was our best player. He was brilliant. He was the one creating all the opportunities, creating the passes, through balls, creating something out of nothing, really. There's no denying he was brilliant for England. So I think he's going to be a big part of Lee Carsley's side moving forward. And he obviously played him at that, well, it was a full-back position, if you like, but we know he was drifting all over the place. Walcott scored a fantastic goal, 2 against Sweden. Joe Cole did as well. A lot of England. And mind you, I remember Zlatan scoring an absolute beast of a goal against England as well. A lot of good goals, England-Sweden. We need an England-Sweden game. It seems like every single goal is an absolute worldie. We need England-Sweden again, don't we? We should start a Danny Welbeck fan club. Mate, he was good. He was quality. Roy Hodgson, he did a good job for Roy Hodgson. Welb's only 2 years older than when Ricky Lambert made his debut. Bloody hell, really? I mean, what a goal. Going on to Ricky Lambert, what a goal that was. Evening Russell, by the way, mate. What a goal Ricky Lambert's goal was on his debut. Was it his debut? I'm sure it was his debut against Scotland. But yeah, what a goal that was. What a header. But yeah, no, I was a big fan. I was a big fan. Bit gutted when he left Man U, really. Zlatan scored 4 that night. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, he was good that night. And obviously, it was like, was it like an overhead or something? Well, it was like one of those where he fell backwards and hit the ball, or it was something like that. I remember at the time, I thinking, oh my god, because I remember at the time, I thinking Zlatan is just overrated. Everyone goes on about him, and then he put 4 past us. Welbeck might as well call for Esky. You know what? I was thinking back, actually, because I was watching, if you haven't watched it, actually, anyone, the Sven documentary, that's on, is it on Disney? It's on, or is it on Amazon? I think, the Sven, I'm sure it's on, it might be on Amazon. the Sven documentary, it was making me think back to obviously those days with Heskey and stuff, and I was trying to think back about which England players in my lifetime have had the biggest stick. Like, really, everyone hated them. They always got picked, and every single time they were picked, they were just like, oh my God, what are they doing? Heskey's definitely one of them. Can you remember Owen Hargreaves? Can you remember when Owen Hargreaves was first playing for England, and he was absolutely getting slated. Everybody hated him. They thought he was crap, and then all of a sudden he turned into our best player. And he was absolutely fantastic. I remember Owen Hargreaves in particular getting absolutely roasted for it. I was going to put Harry Maguire in there, but I don't think he has. I think Harry Maguire's had a lot of stick from Man United fans. I don't think he's had much stick from England fans. I think England fans respect Harry Maguire and understand what he is and what he does. So I'm just thinking of England. Heskey definitely was one. Owen Hargreaves definitely was one. And obviously, I'm going back to probably, from the late 90s. I mean, we all remember when Beckham was absolutely hated after the 98 World Cup. But I'm talking about players who just all the time were just, universally disliked and no one understood why they were being picked. I think Carroll has 2 goals. Welbeck might as well call up Heskey. Francis Jeffers, Nugent, Ricketts, Jay Boothwood, Kevin Davis, Jerry Barton and Leon Osman were all random call-ups. Jimmy Bullard almost made the pitch. I also got mixed up between Welbeck and Sturridge as I was about 6 or 7 when they played together. Gary, who's your favourite Barclays man? How do you mean, Josh? What do you mean? Phil Neville was the butt end of all jokes. I mean, he still is now, isn't he? I'd rather have my cat at left back. That's another one. Just from Milner. I'm sure James Milner used to get absolutely ripped for years as well. It was like a bad smell and all. I swear he's played like a million games for England. There was a period when he just would not leave. He was just there forever. And he wasn't very attractive. I'm sure, I might be wrong there. I'm pretty sure James Milner was another one. Heskey was useless in 2010. He was useless all the time, from what I remember. Hargreaves was one of the most underrated player of the tournament for us in 2006. Mate, he was, absolutely, mate. He was quality. I remember how good he was in the end, but yeah, I just remember him getting so much stick. And everyone hated him. Carlton Cole earned the record of most caps 7 without scoring. Bloody hell, Carlton Cole. I remember going to watch an under-21 game at Hillsborough, and Carlton Cole was in that. And I think he either scored a hat-trick or got 2 on the night or something. He looked really good. I mean, if that was when he was in the 21 setup, I can't remember who he played. I mean, I was only young, but yeah, I remember going to watch a England 21 game at Hillsborough and Carlton Cole scoring a goal. Barclays Premier League 2001 to 2016, I picked Berbatov, unreal first touch. Jermaine Genius. Frank Lampard was slated for starting. You let your country down. Yeah, he was, but I think like Heskey, Milner, Hargreaves, these players who seem to get it for a consistently long time. I was thinking that does Gareth Barry come under that? Was he one of those players who was, or not? I can't really. I sort of remember Gareth Barry being around a lot, but I can't remember if he was popular or not. Just those sort of players where every manager who ever came in, or just no matter what tournament, they were always picked, but the fans were just baffled every single time. And I don't think we have those sorts of players now. I don't think we do. I don't think there's any player that always gets in the squad where everyone's like, what is he doing in the squad? But I think at a time they were those sorts of players. Doesn't mean it was justified. As I said, Owen Hargreaves was definitely absolutely brilliant player, as was Milner, to be honest, and Barry. But there was, for some reason, they were just universally hated or disliked, should we say. Hate is probably a strong word, but disliked by England fans for quite a sustained period where they were being picked. I'm surprised Forest are undefeated. Yeah, going well, mate. Encore football, Gareth Barry was a strange one. No one slated him, but no one rated him. Yeah, and that's what I mean. It was just one of that. I mean, you could argue maybe in modern times, and when I say over the past, 4 to 5 years, maybe Jordan Henderson, probably that one player where no one really loved him, but he was just doing a job. He was there doing a job and sort of goes into that Milner, Barry sort of thing where no one's going to look back on Henderson for England fondly, but at the same time there was no one else, and that's why he was getting picked. There was a trend on social media about Barclays Man, which is basically a Premier League player between roughly 2001-2010ish who weren't top players but great players to watch. Yakubu Delap. Yeah, I like Park Ji-sung. He was massive. I'll be honest with you, I was a massive Michael Carrick fan. Because I just think he was so underrated. It was class. I like Michael Carrick. Really like Michael Carrick. Hendo has had a lot of hate, to be fair, but going to Saudi ruined him. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Ireland, England did decent, but Finland, I think we kept getting stuck in their midfield. Yeah, absolutely. I think Henderson was so underrated. The tournament in 2022 changed when he came into the team. He was outstanding in 2018 as well. Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. Fair point. To get back on trend, what do you think is England's best 11 right now? Oh, my God. Pickford probably in goal. Let's do this then. Pickford in goal. Probably after the way Trent's played. Trent right back. I'm going for it. After that last 2 games, I know it's against nobody, but no. I'm being it too keen there. No, Kyle Walker right back. Gahey and Stones at centre back. Left back, I'll be honest, I've no idea. I think fully fit Luke Shaw, but he's not, is he? Yeah, left back's a tricky one. Left back is a real tricky one. And then Rice. Then what sort of system do I play? Do I even put Kane up? Bellingham, obviously. Saka. What am I on? I've lost track. 4, 5, 6, 7. Have I got 3 more places left? That left side. I would like to say Palmer. I think Palmer would do a good job. I think Palmer would honestly do a good job for England. And then another midfielder. It's that third central midfielder is really difficult. Rice and Bellingham picked themselves, but we haven't seen enough of Mainu in an England shirt. We haven't seen enough of Gomez certainly in an England shirt. Yeah, that other midfielder, and I feel like we can't just have a load of Fodens and Grealishes and Palmers and Gordons. I think we do need another central midfielder, good on the ball, who's gonna, dictate the play a little bit. And because I don't think Rice does that neither, and Bellingham I don't think does neither at all. So we do need another proper solid centre mid, and I think it's difficult who you would put there at the minute. A lot of good options, but I don't know who's the outstanding one at the minute. How did England not mould the team around Carrick? Did Fergie stop him being picked? I don't know. I don't think he did. But I like Carrick. I thought he was good. We should have picked Chilwell for the last games. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't. I was really surprised he didn't. Got to leave now, mate. Have a good night. Enjoy the stream. Yeah, cheers, mate. Have a good evening, whatever you're doing. Have a good week at work or school or whatever you're doing. Thanks for joining, Will. Encore football, left back is a problem position. I remember when it was left midfield in the 2000s. Yeah, absolutely, mate. We had no left footer for years, did we? My best current England 11 would be Pickford, TAA, Stones, Gahey, Shaw, Bellingham, Wharton, Rice, Saka, Kane, Gordon. Yeah, I get you. You can't probably put Wharton in there, though, given the fact he's not played for England's senior team. You couldn't say he's in the best England 11 at the minute. I think that would be very much a stretch. And Gordon, yeah, I think the Wharton position, the Gordon position, and that left back position are probably the ones where, and maybe the right back as well. I mean, Trent's got to do it against a big opposition and keep us defensively solid. I think that's the problem. Henderson, Trippier, Walker will be retiring soon. Do you think they should manage England? No, absolutely not. Good managers, good players don't often make good managers. Wharton, Gomez, yeah, it's hard. We haven't seen enough of either of them, really, to pick who's the best England player in that position at the minute. If not Shaw, then Colwell. Yeah, Colwell's probably a good shout. Carrick at one point didn't want to be called up because he would feel homesick unless he went with Man United. What is a bit like a Ben White situation. I think Wharton would bring best balance to the team. Yeah, I do think we need that. I don't know. We've all got to see more of Wharton. Most of us, and this is true. I mean, yeah, if you've watched Palace last night or whatever, most people haven't watched Wharton in 90 minutes outside of Palace for more than a handful of games. So we need to see what's going off with him. I mean, Carsley's clearly put him under the 20 back in the under 21s, so he's not convinced. He's the answer, but let's see. My lineup: Pickford, Trent, Stones, Gahey, Shaw, Chilwell, Mainu, Rice, Bellingham, Foden, Kane, Saka. Okay, yeah, I mean I wouldn't moan at that. Tom Cleverley got endless stick in 2012, 2013. Yeah, well, you can see why, can't you? I like the way Lewis and Gordon linked up against Finland. I mean, Lewis is just one of those players. He's young, isn't he? He just goes under the radar. No one really. And it's unusual because the press obviously gets massively overhyped about any English player that does half decent. I mean, there was a young lad in Dortmund, was in the Champions League midweek, scored 2 goals, the next minute he's an England star and all this nonsense. But Rico Lewis just comes in, gets the job done, doesn't he? Gets the job done, no fuss. I mean, you don't really hear much about him. I like the way Lewis, what does Tyreek Mitchell need to do to get caught up? I mean, Southgate liked him. Interesting to see what he does moving forward. Lee Carsley doesn't, what does that say? Sing the national anthem, what a disgrace. I think it's a bit of a no story though, isn't it? I know what we're saying, but someone asked a very, very interesting question though about I'd have to watch this back because you can get the full video of it. But the 1966 World Cup final, did Alf Ramsey belt the national anthem out? I'm not sure he did. Does it matter? I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. He's got to obviously care about England, and he does. I know we call him Irish, but look, he's English, isn't he? Really, he played for Ireland because he couldn't play for England. That's as simple as that. He's clearly got English. He is an Englishman as much as an Irishman, and I think he just doesn't sing it just for political reasons because he's played for both teams, and I think it's a non-story. I really do think it's a non-story. And let's be honest, I can't remember and I know Southgate always did sing it anyway, but I wouldn't have give a damn if Southgate sung the national anthem at the Euros final or not. The result is what matters and the performance, and that's it. And I think the good thing is that the England players still sing it. I do like to see the England players sing the national anthem. I do like that. I think there was a period in the 2000s what this got the old golden generation. They were too smooth and too cool, weren't they, to sing the national anthem? Didn't want to sing it. They were criticised for a number of years not singing it. But I do like to see the England players sing it, and it's nice to see that passion, particularly when you're singing it as fans. It's nice that they sing it with you. But Lee Carsley's not singing the anthem. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I normally only sing the national anthem when we're at a major tournament. Three Lions, is that national anthem still an issue? I think it will be as long as he's in the post, mate. You can't be an England manager and not sing the national anthem. Well, I think a lot of managers don't sing their anthems, mate. Encore football, Sven, Rooney, and Capello never sang it. None of that generation. You'll struggle to find a video of Lampard, Gerrard, Beckham. I mean, maybe Beckham, but you'll struggle to find a generation where any of them sang the national anthem. Honestly. Really, such a non-story. He never sung it. It wasn't an issue when he managed the 21s. No, exactly, mate. And no one cared, did they? He didn't sing the national anthem at the 21 final, but he won it. What's more important? I know which one I'd pick. The media was bigging it up like it's a massive twist when it just wasn't. I personally couldn't care less either way. I think the annoying thing is that the first game, I remember watching it on ITV, and the first thing they started with, I mean, that was the main headline. As soon as it come on, it wasn't Lee Carsley's first game. It literally came on the TV, and the first thing they spoke about and the first interview was about him not singing the national anthem. They proper blew it out of proportion. Massively. In reality, as a point, should players really be getting ready to play by singing a song? Never seen Taylor Swift kick a ball before a gig. Good point. Yeah, good point. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for the old Scottish and Irish, does it? They get themselves all pumped up, and then they can't even remember what they're even there for by the time the game comes around. The next minute, they're 2-0 down. I don't even watch BBC, ITV, Sky, or see Channel 4 pre-match intros. No, well, mate, that's all they spoke about. It genuinely, I couldn't believe it. I knew it was a story before the game, But I remember turning it on, and that's literally all they spoke about for the first 10 minutes. I'm thinking, it's his first game. He's got players like Madueke, Livramento, Gomez in the squad, and we're playing Ireland, and all they could speak about was that he weren't going to sing the national anthem. I couldn't believe it. And it was the first thing he was asked as well on his pre-match interview in the tunnel, just before he's coming out. His first game in charge of England, first time most people are hearing him speak, and they ask him about the national anthem. I couldn't believe it. Joe Hart oversang versus Iceland and then made that mistake for... Yeah. I mean, look, you can still be passionate and not sing the anthem. Personally, I sing the anthem. I think you belt it out. I'm not going to lose my sleep, though, if they don't. I do like the fact that England players sing it. I think it's better to see them sing it than not. It did bother me back in the day when I was watching your Lampard, your Gerrards, and they thought they were too good to sing it and they were just mumbling it, and you just think, are they bothered? Are they really bothered? And I think probably that generation at a point weren't. They weren't bothered, and I think they openly admit that now. They were too busy worried about the club loyalties and arguing about a prize in a cereal box or whatever they were, because they were all childish kids. And I think there is some correlation there, but it's not the be-all and end-all, and certainly not for the manager. Certainly not for the manager. Yeah, I think it is what it is for the manager. I mean, let's be honest. The English national anthem, it's always way out anyway. It's too slow. They play it too slow almost 100% of the time. The fans are always 5 seconds ahead. The singer's 5 seconds behind the music. The players are 3 seconds in front of the live. It's always... The English national anthem for England gig, it never goes well. It is always a... When you watch it back, you think, Jesus... Honestly, I can't remember the last time I've been to an England... Well, I've never been to an England game and really heard it belted out. 'Cause I'll be honest with you, you probably would argue that most of the fans at Wembley don't sing it. There's no way 90,000 fans sing the national anthem before the game. No way. Because you don't hear... I mean, there's a big portion, but no way that's not 90,000 singing it out. Just watch the rugby. Watch the rugby fans sing it at Twickenham, 80,000, and it's 10 times different. It's much more... Well, they're all in line for starters. It's sung better. You can hear it at Wembley. I mean, there's the us lot in the Travel Supporters Club in 109 like down at one end, belting it out, and the rest in the ground are just mumbling it, let's be honest. So... the rugby fans drown out the players. Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's no way the fans who even pay money to go and watch the international team sing it, they don't sing it. It's only the small group of England fans that do. And proper sing it, I mean. Semi and the final were sung really well. Yeah, I bet they were, mate, actually, because obviously, yeah, it was only the elites there, wasn't it, mate? That's what I mean. I bet that was better than a full ground. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. In fact, I don't know if you're talking about the last semi or final or the one before. But when you're at a tournament and stuff like that, yeah, absolutely, mate, you'd get it because it is the hardcore that go, isn't it? But at Wembley, there's in terms of your normal games, they don't sing it. They don't. It's always a bit half-arsed. The England fans who attend regularly and tend to sing and the last very fast than everyone else. Yeah, they always do, mate. Well, I mean, you can't hear it. You can't hear the music. You can't, and it is slow. They play it so slow all the time. But obviously, the whole point of like the 109 and that end being set up was to improve the atmosphere at Wembley. It's such a big ground. All the fans that were singing it were all split up. So from what I gather, one of the whole points of it was to improve the atmosphere. And there's no doubt when I'm sat in that end of the ground that all that bottom tier and slightly all that end sings it, but there's no way in hell's chance that the rest of the ground singing it. It's all just mumbling or not singing it at all. So we can't sit here and then berate Lee Carsley for not singing it. So yeah, it is what it is. It's a non-story. If England win the World Cup, not a single one of you is going to give a shit. You're not. None of us are. I'm certainly not. Not at all. Not at all. Just win games. That's all he needs to do. Most recent one I was thinking about, bizarrely, I'm not a royal family fan or religious. Don't know why I bother, really. Well, that's the point. Because obviously, I mean, that's the thing, though, isn't it? The national anthem. I mean, maybe there's a thing here about, do I do an episode on the national anthem, do a bit of a video? Because I remember at a time, it was probably a while ago now, but I'm sure it was about 10 years ago, they were talking about changing the national anthem. I'm sure this was a thing, like going to, like, was it Jerusalem or what? They would definitely talk about changing it. Definitely, like, because it is it's slow, it's not very long, it's obviously very political in the sense of it's supporting a royal family, so for a lot of people it may not resonate with them. It's not a national anthem in probably the traditional sense of other countries where it's literally just about the people and the land and the country as a whole. It's literally just singing to a royal family, so maybe that has something to do with it. Americans have the opposite problem with their anthem. Their fans sing too slow or have pop singers who drag it on. Oh my God, mate, they're all like trying to Mariah Carey, aren't they? It's a joke. I'm sure as well that was written by a Brit. I'm sure the American, like Amazing Grace, I'm sure a Brit wrote all those songs. 3 lines, yeah, Jerusalem. Yeah, I remember that, mate. I do remember Jerusalem being. I thought it was. I did think it was that. I do remember the talk of them changing it. And I think maybe it will come back up because as time goes on. I don't know. I think I wouldn't be against it being changed. And this is obviously coming from a big England fan here. I understand how everyone wouldn't get behind God Save the King or God Save the Queen, whatever it is at the time. Yeah, I can understand that. And you could argue then the song doesn't speak to a lot of England fans. It doesn't represent what they think, like other international, songs do, really. So yeah, I sort of get that. No, War Lion. I'll be honest with you. I go a bit like, why should we bother with the royal family? I like the royal family, but at the same time, I understand why God Save the King probably isn't the best fit for everybody. And I know it's not this about pleasing everybody, but there's probably other historic English songs that we could sing that probably are more suitable for a wider group without having to conform to weird things. It's just. It is a very niche song, isn't it, in terms of supporting a royal family, and it's not for everybody. But sang properly, like the rugby, like at Euro 96 when we've seen it, sang properly, God Save the King is fantastic. The problem is it's bloody, like I said, it's always too goddamn slow, and after 90% don't sing it. So... The match channel, I didn't feel much for the anthem until when England played Iran. When I hear the Star Spangled Banner, I skip forward and go to the toilet. Mate, that's the worst one. We don't want anything like that. Rugby fans, swing low, sweet chariot. Yeah, but it's just a hum that is in the background. But no, it's an interesting point. While I didn't think we'd get on national anthems tonight, but I think it is an interesting point when you got to think actually. I don't think they will change it, but I do remember some time ago that they were on about it, is Jerusalem probably a better fit? And when you look at the lyrics, possibly it is, but in terms of representing England as a country and a wider range of fans, it possibly is. But I don't know. It's very interesting. Very interesting. But anyway, look at the time. We've been on an hour and 10 minutes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all so much for joining me. So, for those that weren't on at the start, I am going to be doing a quiz. And I know I've saying this for a couple of weeks now. I'm going to set a date in the diary there. I'll put a post out on my community page so everyone has the opportunity to plan it in the diary. It'll be on a Sunday. We'll do it on a Sunday night. But I'll set up a quiz. But I want to set it up where people can all log in and I can see people's scores. And we do this legit. I'm not taking people's word for it that I got this right in the chat. We know some people are just bullshit. We'll do a proper quiz, digitally done and all that lot. So give me some time to have a look at that. But I think I'll do it as some sort of like Christmas special. We'll do it as a something for Christmas time. I think that'll be bang on, that will. But then I've also said earlier on, I will be looking at bringing guests on. So I've been working on some graphics, working on some stuff on the background. Russell from the 3 Lines podcast will certainly be coming on at some point. And then maybe some other guests as well. So yeah. Hopefully I'll be chatting with someone and stuff like that. So we'll keep trying to mix the Sunday club up, keep trying to keep it fresh, keep it new, bring new ideas. But yeah, in a couple of weeks' time, I will be putting out my previews videos for Greece and Finland, and I am working on a special episode in terms of why can't England win a tournament. And like I said, I think that's the way I'm going to upload now. Rather than me uploading random videos in the interim between games, I'm just going to concentrate on doing better quality, but longer episodes, less often, but live streams regular, and then cover the fixtures when they come around. I think that's a better balance for the channel and for what people want to watch, because I look at my views when games are on and when they're not, and I just think that works out best for everybody. So hopefully that's going to all work out. But thank you all so much for joining me. Just looking at some of the chats before I leave. Gate 102, no problem, mate. Good luck with your podcast again. Please check him out. And the Three Lions podcast, please check that out as well. Thank you, Encore Football. Thank you for joining me. Josh Phillip, great show as always, Gary. See you all next week. Get some of us on the show, Gary. Yeah, absolutely, mate. And let's maybe some of you guys. I'll get some of you guys on. Definitely. Warline, thanks for the show tonight. No problem, mate. Hopefully I'll see you at the game. And hopefully I'll see you all at the game. Fingers crossed I can drive after having this bloody pot off, but I'll have my ticket. All the best, everybody. Thank you all so much. Have a fantastic week at work or school or whatever you're doing. Up the England. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on my next